Dyslexia. Changing Perceptions. The following video was produced by a team of dyslexics. It aims to promote a greater understanding and appreciation of dyslexia. Dyslexia isn't just about reading and writing, it's much bigger than that. This video was made to enable adult dyslexics to get a better idea about what dyslexia is and how it can affect their life. However, people who either work or live with a dyslexic person should also find this video interesting. Our motivation to make the video comes from our desire to help fellow dyslexics find out what dyslexia is, whilst taking a look at who else is dyslexic. And this might mean finding out if you are dyslexic, and if you are dyslexic, then you will need to know what support is available at work, in education, and in training. So, what is dyslexia? Well, when we talk about dyslexia, we're talking about a lot of people. 10% of the population are dyslexic, and that means there are over 5 million dyslexic people in the UK alone. Many will be unidentified and not receiving any practical or emotional support. In fact, dyslexia has only been fully recognised in the last 20 or 30 years, although it was mentioned in the British Medical Journal as long ago as 1890. You see, historically, most people in society couldn't read or write. This wasn't a problem then, but the world has changed, and being dyslexic in a modern world can be very stressful, as so much information is passed via the written word. Indeed, the word dyslexia itself is from the Greek, dys meaning difficulty, lexia meaning words. But this only explains literacy problems and does not explain the difficulties many dyslexics have with short-term memory and organisation. From the outset, you should know that there is no cure for dyslexia, although some things like tuition might help with improving literacy skills. Actually, in many situations, dyslexia can be a real advantage, yet dyslexics continue to struggle in a society that chooses to measure intelligence by their ability to read or write. Often, dyslexics are good at practical tasks, and many are creative business people. So, who else is dyslexic? Well, Albert Einstein is a great example, but did you know that Whoopi Goldberg and Steven Spielberg are as well? Other famous dyslexics also include Winston Churchill, Picasso, Muhammad Ali, John Lennon and Agatha Christie. The list goes on and on, although it should be said that most dyslexics are just ordinary people like you and me. In day-to-day life, most adult dyslexics have more problems with low self-esteem than with literacy. And being dyslexic is something that will not go away, and dealing with it is vitally important, as the world can be your oyster. With self-belief, hard work and perseverance, you can be whatever you want to be. It is so important to learn from the past, as that has influenced where you are in the present. But most importantly, try to plan for a positive future. The main rule is not to put yourself down. Don't dwell on things that you can't do, but rather focus in on things that you can do. Next, let's look at what school was like. Being dyslexic sets you apart at school, and most dyslexics have real horror stories to tell. Most schools use text-based methods of teaching. This means a lot of information is transferred using textbooks or copying from the board. Dyslexics find these tasks difficult and sometimes impossible. Over 40% of the prison population are dyslexic. These people have been failed by society. Often it's not the fault of the dyslexic that they didn't learn at school. Providing suitable learning environments is the responsibility of society as a whole. Usually, the pressure to adapt is placed on the individual. This can cause a great deal of stress. If you judge a person by their weakness rather than their strengths, this will affect self-confidence. Many professionals now feel that dyslexics need to be taught in a way that acknowledges their weaknesses, but just as importantly, focuses in on their strengths. The Chinese proverb that reads, "If I hear, I forget. If I see, I understand. And if I do, I remember," just about says it all. The use of multisensory teaching strategies does benefit the majority of students, but especially dyslexics. Indeed, multisensory means more senses. Teachers need to adapt to the dyslexics' learning needs. School often conjures up bad memories for adult dyslexics, but that doesn't stop many going back to college in later life and being very successful. Most just need a bit of support and encouragement to get started. This leads us on to friends and families. Well, being dyslexic is a big part of who you are. Research suggests that dyslexia is hereditary, which means you often find lots of dyslexics in the same family. Also, there is no gender bias with dyslexia, which means there is as many dyslexic men as there are women. Dyslexics often do things like forgetting their keys or doing things in an odd order. This might frustrate non-dyslexic partners. It's important that friends and family understand that some dyslexics might have problems explaining themselves in the spoken word as well as the written word. In essence, friends and family are an important source of support for all dyslexics. This leads us on to ask the question, are you dyslexic? Firstly, it should be noted that better awareness and screening means that there are more people being picked up as being dyslexic at school. However, some only discover they are dyslexic in later life, and for the majority, their dyslexia never gets fully identified. In fact, 75% of all dyslexics picked up are identified after the age of 21. The following questions are often used as a very basic indication of dyslexia. Did you have difficulty learning your multiplication tables? Or, when writing, do you find it difficult to organize your thoughts on paper? Perhaps you confuse visually similar words like tan and ton, or lose your place or miss outlines when reading. Lastly, do you find it hard to sound out words like elephant, for example? You may be dyslexic if you answered yes to most of those questions. So, finally, let's look at what support is available. It's important, firstly, to get your dyslexia recognized. It will help you understand yourself a little better. It should also help you get the support you may need in work, training, or education. An experienced psychologist who is trained to identify dyslexia will be needed if you want to secure the support that is available. If we look a bit closer at work situations, we should note that poor marks in exams often lead to fewer job opportunities, whilst new technologies and a pressure to conform to modern text-based ways of communication has also had an impact on dyslexics in the workplace. If you're employed, issues of disclosure are raised. Should I or shouldn't I tell my employer I am dyslexic? Well, that's your choice. But a good employer shouldn't discriminate, and the law is there to help dyslexics in the workplace. In the world of employment, everyone is good for something. It's a matter of working with a person's dyslexia in a positive way. Your job centre should have a member of staff that can offer guidance and support. And if you're at college, you should have the same sort of opportunities. Indeed, many dyslexics are entitled to apply for the Disabled Students Allowance. This may help to buy a computer or fund a support worker to help with organising essays, for example. So don't be afraid to share your experiences with fellow dyslexics if the opportunity arises. Knowing that others have gone through the same things can really help. Support groups can be useful for some people, whilst one-to-one tuition benefits others. Many adult dyslexics develop their own coping strategies, such as keeping a weekly list of all those important things that need to be done at home and at work, always ensuring, of course, that this list is updated. Others keep a diary for all those important birthdays and appointments. There are so many things that can help. Talking books are a great way of accessing both information and stories. Or maybe try a computer that reads your mail and allows you to dictate into a word processor. Whilst BT provide a free directory inquiries service for dyslexics, just phone the operator and ask for details. There are people out there who want to help, and it really can make a difference. There is help with things like short-term memory, literacy, or organising yourself and preparing for job interviews. So, thanks for watching, good luck and goodbye.